So yeah. Um that happened. um Honestly, at this point, I feel nothing. I mean, I already knew what was gonna happen because I looked up the spoilers last week because I didn't want to be pissed off tonight and everything that they said would happen happened. So I feel nothing. Hi Zach.
Hi, Viper.
I'm guessing you looked up the spoilers too, didn't you, Zach?
If you remember, I first called this 3 weeks ago.
You probably looked up the spoilers though, right?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't look.
Nobody,
Hold on. I didn't actually look at them until last week.
nobody could have called this. Nobody.
It just made sense because of how bad it's been this season. But you know,
Oh my god.
but you know what? You know what? I told you so.
Oh, whatever.
I'm not going to John Prosser you. I just said it once. Okay.
Whatever. um. So, I mean, the episode itself wasn't a train wreck. It wasn't a train wreck that I thought it was going to be. It actually didn't really piss me off like the last two episodes. But I mean,
Would you agree it was a bittersweet ending as they said it would be?
yeah. I mean, it pretty much was. I mean, because once again, even though all the Stark children ended up like in good places, they're separated again. So
Yeah.
it is kind of bittersweet. Like, they will probably never see each other again.
I'm with Geonosis. The happy part, like that hit me right here in the feels just before I got downstairs here, was John meeting up with Ghost again. Like that just kind of just made everything kind of like okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on social media was talking about that, and because they were really pissed that he didn't pet Ghost the last time, so they finally got their fan service this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in hindsight, when you look at the whole season, it was a better payoff today than having it, a pet during that episode and then this one. Do you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah,
It just feels. But
yeah. I mean, they had all the damn payoffs today. I mean, they had them all. So
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a payoff. I mean, it was served tonight. So, but I don't know. I just feel nothing. Like after the past 2 weeks, I was just yeah. And
So
this
you were like me last week, where you're just like, I'm so pissed off with everything. I'm just gonna look up the spoilers, and you kind of already knew going in, right?
I already knew.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this show that is known for spectacular death, completely failed us in season 8. Even the Daenerys death was just unspectacular. Like they almost did it off screen. Like what the fuck, really?
Yeah. Unless you were, I mean, we have the volume we up when we watch it. We heard it, right? But if you didn't, you may have not even noticed that it happened, right?
Like the only way that you knew that she died is when like he slowly like put her on the ground, and then you knew that he stabbed her. But damn, why hide it? Just go able to kill. Like, damn.
Oh, sorry. There's one thing I need to do, Viper, really quick. Geonosis. I told you so. Mia. Told you so. Shannon, I told you so. Okay, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. But yeah, I mean okay, so our good friend, I wish Jason was here right now because he did a really good video on this. Right? Did you see his Game of Thrones video?
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's like, there's extreme this way, extreme that way, and fan service. My issue with the whole season has been the delivery, not so much what's happened. Do you know what I mean? And hoping for some answers to some things, right? So, out of 10, I'd rate the season 7. Honestly, I mean, I could be happy just be done watching at 7. If someone came to me and said, "He's actually I watched Game of Thrones," I'd be, "Yep, watch up to season 7, then that's it. Don't even worry about season 8."
Yeah, really.
Roberto's looking for a link.
I already gave it to him.
Did you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The chat's a little slow here, but I don't know. What would you rate it out of 10? Like, what would you say?
I gave this season a 6.
A 6, eh?
Yeah. It was. I mean, see, episode 3 was the greatest of greats, and then it just went all downhill.
Yeah.
Complete fucking disaster. Almost.
I mean, they did such a great job of building up tension and getting characters back together in the first 2 episodes. And then we watched a wall of black during episode 3, depending on what kind of TV you have, I guess. Or if you turned up your brightness. And then, I mean, but Game of Thrones has always been about subverting your expectations, But like I said, I just was looking for more answers and everything like that.
The problem is you can subvert expectations all you want, but like you said, the delivery and the execution was completely off this season. Like,
yeah, the delivery. Yeah.
It was just like the whole instant heel turn for Daenerys. It's just like, really, dude? Like, we just doing it like that? And then Jaime risking his life to fight the White Walkers, only to end up going back to Cersei, just seems stupid to me.
I mean, at the start, when you first started watching Game of Thrones, you're like, Jaime, this asshole, this golden hair nobody, Kingsguard, right? And then he goes full into hero mode, and then you're looking for a positive ending, and you just, I don't know. I guess that's subverting your expectations, but going back, he said himself, I'm evil, she's evil. I don't know. Like, I just put my hands in the air. I'm just like, I don't know.
I mean,
hey, Jeff.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Jeff? I mean, some of it was cool. I mean, we got to see Sansa become the Lady of Winterfell, so that was pretty cool.
Man, I was really hoping she would die.
Why?
Jeez.
Just because, I mean, she played the game well, I guess, in the end. She played it well, but I just never liked her character. I just, especially after, Jon told her, and then literally 20 minutes later, hey, Tyrion, you know what?
But I mean, the reason, everything happened pretty much because of her. Once he told her, and then she went to tell Tyrion, that pretty much set the events in motion that led to Daenerys' death, and that was that. I love the fact that she, no matter who was king or queen, she's like, yo, the North is not bending in the knee. So you got she's like, deal with it.
Yeah, you got to give it to her for that, because at the very least, she stayed true to her people, basically. So you got to give her that much at least.
Yeah. So she stayed true. Oh yeah. Like that. I feel nothing tonight. But if I got one positive out of this whole thing was Arya. Oh my god, I love Arya. She was like, you talk about killing my brother, I'm gonna cut you. She's like, yeah, get her. Yeah. The whole positive about the entire season was Arya. Other than Arya, it was all man. But Arya saved the day, man, all the time.
So I guess a question a lot of people are gonna be asking now is, will they do a series with where Arya went? Will they do? I don't think we'll see that. I think we'll see a lot of fan fiction, a lot of books, a lot kind of like Star Wars kind of thing. Like after episode 6, I see Roberto nodding. He's like, "Yep."
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do anything more with these characters. I mean, obviously they're prequel coming out, and there will be different characters completely. But these characters that we just watched over the past 10 years, they're done. They're done with them.
And that prequel,
they're done in HBO.
Yeah.
And that prequel takes place thousands of years before. Even this, like before anything.
I don't think thousands. I think hundreds.
No, they said it was 5,000 years prior, because they were talking about the Children of the Forest.
That's what I read. I just read thousands. Yeah.
We're talking about before the conquest, because I was hoping they would have gone for Aegon's conquest, but that would have been kind of cool to see.
They probably will do something for Aegon's conquest, but I think that'll be animated.
Yeah, if anything,
still be cool to watch. Yeah.
What's up, Roberto?
But I think they'll do like the original Long Night, which will just be like a horror show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the original Long Night was basically the Battle of Winterfell forever.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, what are your thoughts on tonight? It
was super bittersweet, like just kind of the way things went. So, like, I mean, I knew Daenerys was going to get killed. I just wasn't 100% positive that it was going to be Jon that did it, but just the whole way the thing kind of went down. I don't know, man. I mean, it had to go the way it went. but just the kids being all separated again and stuff. And then I don't know, man. But putting Bran on the throne, I did see that coming though. That was, you know, fairly obvious as far as things went. But
After last week, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just mad bittersweet, dude.
So wait. Hold on. Time the hell out. So after all of these seasons that we've watched, all of you are okay with Bran being on the throne. Y'all are just okay with this. Really?
Yeah.
I don't feel either way. I'm not happy about it. I'm not mad about it. It's just a thing.
It makes sense, and it was one theory I had. I just didn't believe in it. Like, but I did state it. I've talked. You remember I said that's one of the possibilities I threw out like early on. Is like, well, you know, but I didn't really. I felt like they'd done too much of build up of everything else to go that way. But I guess that's a way to subvert expectations. But it makes literary sense because our story and everything that's transpired up until now started with Bran.
Yeah.
And he was our point of view character from the very beginning. Everything was, hey, are the White Walkers back? Hey, Dad, like, shouldn't you why are you killing this kid? But everything was like, Bran, don't look away. Everything started with Bran.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
You got to wonder, you know, a lot of these a lot of the Game of Thrones channels will probably do theories about how Bran probably went to the future, did this, so that he would end up. I mean, who knows, right?
I love how the little smug punk.
Sorry, go ahead.
I love how the little smug punk was like, "Why do you think you guys came up this way?" Like, really, really, motherfucker. So you just knew you were gonna be the king, huh, motherfucker?
Yeah.
God.
Well, I think he said twice throughout this episode, you were exactly where you needed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever.
Like, but you know, technically, I think Jon, if they made him technically they didn't really give Jon a sentence at the wall because there's not really a Night's Watch anymore. It was just kind of dip out, go do your thing. So Jon can go like live out his life or whatever, be part of the free folk, be one of the wildlings, you know, find himself another redhead.
Yeah, and when what's his name said, you know, you belong in the North, that's when I knew, like, that's where he's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, what else is he gonna do, right? Because there was no way that he was gonna end up on the throne. You know, there was no way that Drogon was gonna be like, all right, cool, let's just, you know, I'll be your dragon now. That wasn't gonna go down that way.
And
you know, Drogon, I thought that like that one possibility I had was that Dany might accidentally reveal his identity by deciding to burn him alive, and then the fire doesn't hurt him because he's blood of the dragon. Like,
that'd have been cool.
I thought maybe she'll accidentally fuck up in real, because the thing that pissed me off is that nobody knows he's Aegon Targaryen now.
Well, no, the letters were sent out to the different lords.
If the letters were sent, if the lords got them, I'm like, why when they were at the council, didn't they decide to name him king then? Like that pissed, like, you know. They
couldn't, I don't think, because he was a prisoner of the Unsullied and he killed the queen. So I don't know if you can name. I don't know if you can name somebody who killed the queen, the king or whatever.
That's what they were gonna do for Robert Baratheon if he had his way. Robert Baratheon's plan was to sit there. He killed the crown prince. His plan was to kill the Mad King himself.
Well, we saw how that worked out for him. Huh?
Well, he ended up king until he wasn't.
Gino just keeps on asking, how did I know? I didn't know, but after the third episode, when I sat here with Viper and everything, and it was that night again, I watched the episode over and over again. I just kept on thinking, you know, okay, so it's not going to be Jon, it's not going to be Sansa, it's not because those are all fan fiction, fan service endings, and it just, you know, who's the one person that can see everything coming and going all the time? Bran. So that's why I said, you know, 3 weeks ago, it's going to be Bran.
Fucker did nothing to deserve being on the throne. Nothing.
But they elected him. They said going forward, there's no longer going to be successions. They'll just vote, right?
I like how everyone laughed at the idea of democracy. That was hilarious.
Oh my god.
That was like hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean he played the game? He didn't do anything. All he was a 3-eyed raven. What do you mean he played the game? Taking damage?
Didn't he?
What was he playing? With ravens and owls? What was he doing?
So this goes into what I was talking about, how all the different fan websites and channels are all going to talk about. Okay, do you guys remember the Hodor episode? So he went into the past. and he ended up, having the seizure, and started out as hold the door, and ended up being Hodor, affected the future, saved him. What if Bran's been doing that the whole time? Right?
Yeah, he engineered the past to serve his desired outcome.
Exactly, which then also speaks to him saying several times now, you were exactly where you needed to be. You did exactly what you needed to do.
He moved the chess pieces. This entire thing has been a chess game of Bran just picking his pieces and his opponents the entire time. Because he even said that to Theon.
Yep.
And he also gave Theon absolution. He said, "You're a good man," and then he let him die.
Yep.
Like, unnecessarily, one might, argue, but but given Arya the time, I guess, to get up in there,
if Daenerys hadn't burned down the city, Bran would never have ended up being in charge, and them having a democracy now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
six kingdoms rather than 7.
Bran could have told them about the ambush for the dragons, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Think about it. You have Bran Stark. You have the three-eyed raven. There's no way to ambush you. There's no way to for an enemy to subvert him with their battle plan, whatever clever bullshit they think they're gonna do. Right. But he didn't warn them.
Someone's gonna come up with a video on YouTube. I really hope it's Charlie. I don't know if he'll be his channel, but someone's gonna come up with a video connecting all the dots of what Bran did to get to where we are. And when that video comes out, I'll totally tweet it out and everything. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, same. Here's something though. They needed more season. They needed at least one more season to really do the story justice, because I understand why people are upset, but I don't think we can blame Dan Weiss and David Benioff, because the thing is, I blame George, because we don't have those 2 damn books, and we've been waiting for a good damn minute. And the 6th book was supposed to come out 2 fucking years ago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So anything about season 7 that we didn't like, and everything about season 8 that we liked, I blame George. I don't blame Dan Weiss and David Benioff. I don't. Not
damn that. Oh damn, you're on your own with that one. I completely blame them.
Because if they had when they had the books as a guide, flawless execution for every season that there was a book.
So without the book, we're supposed to just let them off as complete dumbasses?
Dude, it's you really as somebody who's tried to write and storyboard and do that shit, it's without a good outline, man. Without a good outline, and then pressed with the time constraints and budget constraints of HBO, dude. Sorry.
Oh, no. Oh, no, fuck that. No, HBO will go give them a blank check. HBO will go give them a blank check.
Dude, they didn't. No, they didn't.
What?
For one thing, that's why we had jank CGI in there was a couple of times when a lot of us called out jank CGI, especially with the time that where they had the giants, when the wildlings attacked the wall. Some of the CGI there was janky. Some of that CGI was janky, just like how there was some janky CGI in Black Panther every now and again.
Hold on, I want to talk about the only place I've ever read about people saying that HBO is going to write them a blank check and they could have done 10 episodes has always been Twitter. I have yet to see an article or anything anywhere.
Because it's not true.
With a source. Yeah, exactly. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit rumor that's been going around.
Yeah, it's not true. They got a budget every season, and the thing is, they had to pick and choose things and to blow the budget. And every time they use the dragons, that eats up so much money. Every time with the dragons, that eats up so much fucking money, and you cut corners. And the Battle of Blackwater Bay, that thing ate up so much money. The Battle of the Bastards ate up so much of the budget. That's part of why this season they told them for what they wanted to do. It's you got 6 episodes.
I'm not picking on Myobi here because he's a good member of the community. He's always engaged in all of our channels or anything like that. But Myobi, I have yet to find an actual legitimate article quoting an actual source or legitimacy of HBO saying, yeah, we would have wrote a blank check and they could have done 10 episodes.
Charlie's an industry insider, and Charlie will tell you that no, they get limited budget and they blew a lot of it on X, Y, and Z. And most of the budget.
No. We're gonna sit here and believe that HBO wouldn't have backed up the brain truck to extend it a few more episodes. Come on, man.
If they were gonna do that, they would have done it. They would have given it 10 seasons, dude.
But D&D always said they had it.
Yeah,
73.
They had their outline and they stuck to their outline.
At 73.
They couldn't make it. They couldn't make it work because think about it. If you had in this season even 2 more episodes, if they had 75, we could have gotten a lot better, dude. Like, but the budgets wasn't there, and HBO's contract was HBO's contract, dude.
I have a hard time believing that HBO didn't have the money to extend the season.
We'll never know. We'll never know. Do you think HBO would actually come out and say that? Oh my god, that would make them look terrible.
It's a matter of choosing, dude. But it's like I've been around this like freaking industry, and like down here in Atlanta, even stuff with that. I mean, I have friends who had like parts in like Winter Soldier that got cut, dude. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like if you're around like the film and television and broadcast industry, it's like the Game of Thrones. It's like freaking Breaking Bad. It's ruthless as fuck.
HBO is going to lose money because this season truncated. People are about to unsubscribe from HBO now in mass.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, not with that Watchmen that they about to drop.
What?
I'm not going to because we got.
And we got
Roberto.
We got Watchmen.
Watchmen. Ballers coming up. 3 more episodes of Chernobyl. Come on, man.
Dude.
You're going to stay with HBO for Watchmen and Ballers?
I'm not dropping HBO.
Oh my god.
Viper's all alone.
Oh, y'all don't understand.
Not to mention we're gonna get those HBO prequel. We gotta get that prequel too. And like dude, some of us like Silicon Valley, dude.
There's no way HBO now knows they're not about to tank tomorrow, man. There'll be a lot of people.
Viper, that Watchmen thing is real, and DC Comics has been hyping up Watchmen, and DC Comics have been hyping up Watchmen, man. I don't know if you've been reading and paying attention, man, but like DC Comics brought back Dr. Manfucking Hadden.
Let me just say this. My wife is the complete opposite of me. She watched the Watchmen movie with me a couple years back. Like, we finally watched it, and she saw the preview tonight before Game of Thrones, and she said, "Oh, we gotta watch that." And I looked at her, I'm like, I don't know you.
Yeah,
who is this person?
Man. That freaking cult of Rorschach, man. Like, I'm like, I want to know that freaking cult dedicated to Rorschach. I'm all about it. I'm like, sign me up.
Yeah,
Roberto, I love you, but that might have been one of the most funniest things I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
Put it to the people in the chat. Are y'all down for Watchmen? Are y'all down for Watchmen this fall?
Type in, keep it or dump it in the chat. Are you keeping HBO or are you dumping it? Keep it, dump it.
Actually, thank you, Jack, for reminding me. You go ahead and get rid of this shit real quick.
I'm looking forward to the. By the way, seriously, if you're not watching Chernobyl, you have to. It's a 5-part. Part 3 is tomorrow.
I've been thinking about tuning into it. I think it's
Roberto.
I'm gonna watch the first episode as soon as I get done with the. I'm watching the Handmaid's Tale right now.
There you go.
As soon as I get done with that, I'm gonna jump on the show.
I've been wanting to watch Handmaid's Tale.
Hey, it's really good alternative like modern history thing, but it speaks a lot to the things that we see happening in our country today. So it's actually really good, Roberto. I think you would really appreciate the writing on this story. It's really good. I'm on the season finale, or the season 2 finale. I'm gonna watch that tonight.
I'm gonna check that out. Are they still moving forward with that one series about whether if the Civil War went the other way? Are they still gonna do that, or is that series did they scrap that idea?
Civil War.
There was a series that HBO was gonna do if the South hadn't surrendered or something like that, and the country had been divided. And if the country just was divided straight up, still North and South, like what would that be like today if that had happened? Like an alternate history kind of where would we be today if that I wonder if they're still going to do that, or
so like the Man in the High Castle, but based on the Civil War.
Yeah, instead of on the World War II. Yeah.
So
that's
interesting.
Yeah, no, that is like, so I'm like, so it was an interesting concept, but it got a lot of heat, like politically, like obviously, but like creatively, I thought it was super interesting. And the thing is, I'm surprised that was getting so much heat because they actually put two black men as the showrunners and writers for it, which means it was going to be handled obviously appropriately to them saying it's not, no, we're the last people who would glorify, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're going to show you how bad it would be. Like, so that's like, so that's interesting. That I wonder if they like scrap that, or if they just kind of like decided, oh, we'll let the heat die down, and then we'll like, so yeah.
I'm surprised the Man in the High Castle didn't get more heat than it did.
I know, right?
Considering all the way that they show Nazis, you know, being in full glory.
And it's not an unpopular show, and it's not like it hasn't been marketed.
No, not at all. So yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, so, like that is
the things that we get outraged about are kind of weird, right?
But I would have thought, like, I mean, considering the imagery and the Holocaust and everything, I would have really thought that like it would have gotten a lot more heat, and like especially right now.
Yeah, did you guys watch that show? Did you guys watch The Man in the High Castle?
No,
I'm still working my way through season 1.
Okay, yeah. It gets really crazy on season 2 as well. So it's worth watching. I love the alternative history stuff. So
I'm a big fan.
Going back to Chernobyl, Roberto, the guy, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was one of the scientists in the first Thor movie, kind of a balding guy, and then later on, so he plays like one of the generals. He's in episode 2.
That's Skarsgård.
Yeah, they put hair on him or whatever. So, but anyway, he's in Chernobyl. So
nice.
Yeah. So
Tech Red, right? Tell him, Tech Red. Tell him, bro.
More than James Charles. Jesus.
Oh, that's
what
savage.
A mess all that is.
That is savage.
Oh,
okay,
so
gotta
love Tech Red.
Let's hear from each of you guys. We'll start with Roberto. As a whole, all 8 seasons, are there any points or anything that you wish they had paid off or explained more, or are you satisfied, not satisfied?
Like, so like the Red God just kind of said, fuck all y'all.
The Lord of Light, you mean?
Yeah, the Lord of Light, the Red God. You know, Rolor, I believe it is. Raylor just kind of said, fuck all y'all. I got mine, you know, and that really pisses me off because I'm like, they did not pay off the plot line of Azor Ahri, the prince that was promised, the flaming sword, like Lightbringer. None of that. It's just like that whole storyline just got pissed in the wind, and we got no payoff on the Red God. We got no real resolution when it comes to Melisandre. Like, who was she? Why was she an ancient crone? We got no answers. She's just some like ancient crone with some necklace that's keeping her alive, and we got no answers. No, it's just like nothing. We got no revelation about the great other, which was the opposite of Raylor, so we got nothing about the dark god. We got nothing about the fire god. Like the gods just said, fuck all y'all. Like, so like the 7, I'm fine that the 7 never manifested, like, because like maybe they're just like made up fake gods and everything like that. The old gods, the weirwood trees, just kind of was just like there. Like, so I'm pissed off that most of the mythology and the mysticism just got thrown out the window and not paid off in any reasonable, satisfying way in terms of the greater plan or purpose and everything like that. It's like, shit. Like, if I wanted to be left hanging like that, I could have just like stayed home, you know, instead of escapism. Like, so if I want a lack of answers, so like that really pissed me off probably more than anything. And the other plot line that never got resolved is the goddamn debt. The debt. It's like the Westeros rent is too high. The Iron Bank, no payoff. They didn't even in the end when they're sitting there in the council.
Yeah, they got to figure it out now because
they were like, oh yeah, we got no. They were talking about ships and they were talking about brothels and everything like that. No one brought up the actual Iron Bank, and the Iron Bank wasn't there about like getting our coin or about like, hey, King Bran, what's up? Like the Iron Bank, nothing all season, nothing from the Iron Bank. Like, and it made up such a big deal in the whole thing. So like those lack of resolving any of those plot lines pissed me off. And the fact that, yeah, we saw that Gendry was a lord. We didn't get to actually see him in Storm's End at Dragonstone, like, you know, handling his business. So like that lack of like, you know, kind of bookending, like we started this with Baratheons and Starks, and I kind of wanted to see Gendry get a little bit more shine there at the end. I wanted to like
4 more episodes could probably clear a lot of stuff up.
Four episodes would have let them do more with the Battle of Winterfell, because the Battle of Winterfell should have been a 2-parter, and it would have helped us deal with and reconcile the mythology part of it and everything like that, because we could have left that at Winterfell and then got to the Westerosi shit.
Gendry was at the council. He was in the dragon pit.
I saw him at the council, but I didn't get to see him like kind of I'm Gendry fucking Baratheon. I didn't get even a little something of like him and Arya even saying goodbye. Yeah, like I like, because obviously they now
there's like 3 people between them if you look at the lineup.
I know.
It was kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's weird. That's awkward as shit. Like, so. I mean,
not even a little bit of this, like him going, "Hey, do you want some more of the hammer?" No, like I don't know.
Hey, want to go another round? So I'm a little pissed at that. But I am happy that Brienne, like, remember how I kept talking about Jaime Lannister's legacy? I'm glad that was paid off.
I liked how Brienne wrote that in. I really like that.
So that made some things right with me, and Sansa being hailed as Queen in the North. Made some things right with me, so I can like. And Tyrion had to live to the end, and I'm glad his punishment was to be Hand of the King.
Yeah. I know he gets to make all the wrongs right, and I don't know. Do you think any of Peter Dinklage's lines from tonight's episode, or even from this season, are Emmy worthy?
Him like proclaiming Bran, and
no, I'm talking about Peter Dinklage's specific lines as Bran, or as Tyrion.
No, I'm saying okay, so I think maybe the lines, the last things he said to Jon Snow, or when he was explaining to Bran that he's the king and that he's the only one who can be king. So I think maybe those, or when he's begging Varys for beseeching Varys on Day's behalf, talking about like her destiny, and about how she'll make it right, and how he's like practically begging for her life.
The Dragon Pit one is the stuff that sticks with me the most. Maybe because it's from tonight, but it just seems like I can see when they're bringing up the Emmy nominations and they're showing Peter Dinklage. I can see them showing that. Like a piece of that there. Viper's been pretty quiet. Are you okay there, buddy?
There's no way this season can win any Emmy. No way.
The Battle of Winterfell is.
For sure.
Okay, that one. That's it. That's it. No, that's all. That's it. But I am upset because I've been watching this show since season 1, and since season 1, Arya's had a list. At the top of the damn list is Cersei.
You know what?
What do we do? What do we do?
You know what, Viper? Just like Apple and Samsung.
Sander and her, though. Clegane and her.
Viper, just like Apple and Samsung, Game of Thrones don't care about your feelings, son.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Viper, Viper, I didn't get to come on after episode for the previous episode. I need to know how you and everybody else feels about Clegane Bowl, though.
I mean, it was what it was. It was the best part of that episode. That's about it. But that's not saying much.
I thought it was good.
That episode in terms of the action scenes was good.
Yeah, the action was good. Just the shit that was happening was stupid.
But the brutality of it, I was down. The brutality, and Clegane Bowl. I've seen the YouTube clips of just Clegane Bowl, and like when you watch it like that, it's like the hype is real.
If you cut out the cuts to Arya, it's
like
good.
when the Hound, when Sanders just sitting there laughing maniacally, stabbing his brother in the face.
Are you fucking?
Yes. Yeah. The problem is that was the only good part of the entire episode. That was the only problem with that.
I wouldn't say it's the only good part, man.
The only good part.
I don't know. Like, I wasn't a fan of Danny with the sacking and burning of King's Landing, but how it like was executed was like phenomenal. Like, I really felt the like ash in my mouth, people burning in the streets, flailing, screaming in pain. Like when she said with fire and blood, I felt it.
Yeah, but back to
like
back
hell
to why
I think they portrayed hell on earth in those scenes.
Back to why I'm pissed though. Back to why I'm mad. Like I said, the damn list, 8 seasons, we had the list 30. And what happens to 30? Arya never gets to her. She gets buried alive. She get buried dead apparently. Whatever.
So there's a channel on YouTube. I don't know if he reviews anything else, but it's something rather drinker. And he always has this. He always says like when he's talking about different things in the show, he's like, "Fuck off, show." I can't wait for his take.
Yeah, but the thing about this whole series and this whole season 8 hasn't been about any payoffs, and I think that's the thing that we sort of have to kind of get past is the fact that we had expectations for things to be paid off, and the ones that we got were a blessing, but beyond that, we shouldn't have expected anything, and that's why to me the whole thing just feels bittersweet. But I'm not disappointed in that sense. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Jason?
I can't wait to hear Jason.
Oh boy. Oh. We have
Jason's
no audio.
upset. Nothing's working.
No audio.
We have no audio. Oh boy.
Even with using Apple.
Don't rub salt in the wound.
Oh man.
Nothing works ever.
Not ready yet.
Well, I've been able to live stream. I'm live streaming on the freaking Galaxy S10 right now, and I'm watching the stream on the Pixel 3a.
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good.
That's not bad, right?
Listen, Jeff, that's not good enough, man. You can't tell me that Arya tried to kill the queen for 8 seasons and then don't give it to you, man. You got to give me that, man. Damn.
Oh no! I'm not saying that it wasn't disappointing. I'm disappointed. It's like it's sort of like a poetic ending to both of their characters, but it's like it wasn't worth it to me having them go in a cave.
I feel like he's like I like the better payoff of the Hound loving her enough, like a daughter or like a friend, to save her from herself.
Yeah.
Like I like that. Like I like the emotional payoff of that more than the revenge plot for Arya, because I think it's the only way we get to keep Arya, and I'll take it. I'm not willing to sacrifice Arya just for Cersei to get her comeuppings. So like I rather have a future for Arya than not. So I can live with it. Like Cersei getting her comeuppance isn't worth it to me to lose Arya if that's the trade I have to make. And it wasn't for the Hound either.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, there's some pissed off people on Twitter. Holy fuck.
Oh yeah.
Damn right.
I feel that if they have to choose between Cersei's comeuppings and protect Arya, I think they choose the girl with no name. I think they choose the girl with no name.
Man. My goodness.
The Starks had to come out of this. We deserve that. They deserve that. Like for all the shit, for all the ripping our heart out with fucking Ned and Rob and Catelyn and even fucking little pissant Rickon. Like I mean, like
remember those characters? Yeah.
Yeah. Like we had to like no more Starks. The Norths had enough. Damn it.
That's cool though, because now they rule. Now the Starks rule all 7.
Yeah,
between them. 6.
Yeah, between them.
Oh yeah. I guess 7, right? Yeah.
Between them, the Starks have just basically conquered most of the known world. Yep. Jon's got whatever's north of North. Yeah. Jon is like leading the fucking free folk right there around the Long Tormund Giantsbane, because like they weren't really serious about that bullshit life sentence shit. Like they're like, what wall? What Night's Watch? Night's Watch ain't enforcing shit. The Night's Watch, Jon's a god to them. They ain't doing shit. They ain't holding him to shit, right? Bran rules the 6 kingdoms and Sansa rules the 7th. And Arya's about to conquer whatever's west of Westeros. Stark's got this shit on lock.
Yep.
The East better keep to itself because the Starks ain't fucking around. So
I don't foresee any of the actors or actresses replaying their roles again.
No,
because they're definitely being typecast now going forward.
The only way it would happen is if we did some BS like Cobra Kai 30 years from now.
Well, wasn't there a line someone
Cobra
said?
Kai is amazing.
Oh no, it is. I'm just saying if we did something
BS
like
Cobra Kai in the same sentence, that's black.
No. What I mean, you got to understand. What I'm saying is like if 30 years down the road we decide to rehash Game of Thrones 30 years later or something.
There was a line in tonight's show. I can't remember who said it. Someone said something. See you in 10 years, or ask me in 10 years.
Oh, Tyrion. Yeah. Tyrion said, "Ask me in 10 years."
Maybe.
I want to piss off the edge of the earth again.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a Christmas special.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, Jason, are you good? Are you with us, Jason? What's going on, man?
I think I got some audio now. It's my onboard microphone, but
there we go.
All right, we can hear you.
I'm having driver issues with my Mac.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. And my universal audio driver won't boot up the console. So even though I can see my mic, I can see it making sound. I can't get any sound to come through it. So anyway,
the driver won't drive.
Yeah, it's a little annoying.
Ari, oh wait, I just realized something. Ari is the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Oh, now that we got Jason here, Jason.
Yeah.
Can you look at the camera, please?
Yeah.
I told you so.
Yeah, I don't fucking care, man. I'm dead serious. I don't fucking care.
That's the hashtag of the night.
Wow.
I don't fucking care.
Tell us how you feel, Jason. Tell us how you feel.
Honestly, don't fucking care if you were right or not. Can I say it again? I don't fucking care.
Okay, all right.
That was the biggest bunch of bullshit I have ever seen. That was such bullshit.
Continue. Keep going.
Okay, we got 30 minutes of a show. Okay, and then Jon Snow kills Daenerys, and then we get Fade to Black and a whole bunch of bullshit for 60 minutes. That was fucking awful. That was so fucking awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done 45 minutes, right?
That was just nothing but jerk off for 60 minutes. People were like, "Oh, look, we're gonna jizz all over." Oh man, it was fucking awful.
Oh my god!
The actors said it was all the actors. The actors like tried to prepare people. You know, the actors were like, "Oh
my god!" I've never seen Jason
fucking awful.
I've never seen Jason piss, and I love it. I'm here for all of it. Yes, yes.
Oh, I mean, you want to talk about fan service? Holy shit! It's just like, well, we'll write 30 minutes of this, and then we'll just like piss off for the next 60.
Jason, I want to ask you as a writer, do you feel that the fact that there were 2 more books that aren't written compared to like how the seasons have progressed with the other books that were written, do you feel like if the 2 books not being written played a role and a factor in how everything came out in terms of this execution?
Well, I mean,
as a writer,
no, I don't think it should.
But do you think it did?
Well, no, those guys, you don't get to be the writers on the most popular television show probably ever by not being good. Those guys can write. But
so do you think it was the HBO budget and the cutoff?
No, I don't. I don't think it was the budget. I mean, you work within your budget, but you still write a fucking good story. Jesus Christ. What the fuck was that?
With what was left, I mean, after season 7, though, to do it in 6 episodes, do you feel like the pressure was rushed in terms of how can you resolve everything they left unfinished in season 7 in 6 episodes? Like, I don't think you could. I think you need 10 episodes.
No, you can fucking do it in however many episodes you want, as long as it's more than 1.
Really?
They just fucking blew it so fucking bad.
How would you have fixed it?
Well, I would have kept telling the story after Daenerys got stabbed. Like, all of a sudden, Jon's in jail and Tyrion's in jail, and there's a whole bunch of people sitting around. They're like, "Who should be king?" "Well, I think it should be Bran." Because.
So, like, again, what would you have done, like, differently?
okay, if I were writing it,
and you only have to write episode 6 because the other 5 are done.
Yeah. So the build up to Jon killing Daenerys was perfect, right? And then when he killed her, it was all good until Drogon started like breathing fire on everything but Jon. I mean, he should have been breathing fire on Jon. And Jon should have then been impervious to the fire because
he's blood of the dragon.
Right. And then people come in, they see what's happened. There's a big fight between the North and all the other
Unsullied.
Yeah, and the Dothraki.
The regenerating Dothraki.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, it wasn't.
Some made it back to the wall, dude. I mean, they came back screaming and crying from the undead. Like, you didn't get them all.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you then have the battle for the crown, which may end in a stalemate, which may end in everybody agreeing to that more war is not going to be in the best interest of anyone. And then you go through what you did for the past, you take 30 minutes. You take 30 minutes.
The council thing?
Yeah, you take 30 minutes. You let Jon Snow be a part of that because having Jon Snow off screen for that is total fucking bullshit.
And not paying off him being Aegon Targaryen?
Yeah, it's total fucking bullshit. Total fucking bullshit. So you let Jon be a part of it. You let Jon say, no, I'm going to take the black. You let Bran be king. You let everybody go off and do their thing. And it's all motivated. But right now, nothing in that whole last 60 minutes was motivated by anything but like, we're tired of writing? That was such bullshit.
Welcome to my world. Oh my God.
Basically, if we literally like change one scene and add 2, you're good.
Probably. Depending on how, yeah, but I mean, you have to see the conflict. The conflict can't just end and then the dragon flies away after melt.
Some of that is comparable, and the headcanon issue is comparable to how some people felt about The Last Jedi.
No, The Last Jedi I thought was great.
But a lot of people didn't. I thought it was
but they all thought it wasn't great for a bunch of reasons that are stupid.
They keep saying the writing. They keep blaming the writing.
Jeez,
it wasn't the writing.
Jason, you're sounding like your videos. Stop whining about Game of Thrones.
No, I mean, I wasn't whining about Game of Thrones. I thought that they built it up pretty well, but they then fucked the pooch on the landing.
Jason, are you okay with Bran being on the throne, dude?
Yeah, but I can't be. It can't be just like, Bran, will you take the throne? I didn't come all this way for nothing. Jesus fucking Christ! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Doesn't that make literary sense, though, from a symmetry standpoint? We started with him as the first POV character in the series, and the entire events leading up till now were all precipitated by what was done to him by Jaime. Don't you think it makes literary sense?
No. I mean, it's fine that we have him as a vehicle. I went back and watched the first 2 episodes tonight before this started, and it's fine to have him as like the vantage point that we have in those early scenes. And yes, it's terrible that he gets knocked off the tower and becomes crippled, but he has been totally out to lunch for 3 seasons. He has not been an active member of this series other than to say things, and then we all have conjecture about whether or not he brought it all together by himself because he saw the future or some shit.
The future manipulated the past.
Yeah,
it probably would make more sense if there were scenes like that, like Roberto said, that in the past seasons of bits and pieces here and there where he goes in the past, like he did with Hodor, maybe did something and tweaked the future, right?
I just realized that the season 8 DVD and the omnibus DVD is going to be fucking amazing. I just realized like how much is on the cutting room floor for the last 8 fucking years that they have. I just realized how much fucking money they're gonna make on all of these fucking DVD sales.
Yeah, but
my brain just started doing the math, and I'm just now seeing oh shit.
I was so excited. Like, I was so excited to rewatch the series after this was over. I watched those 2 first episodes, and I was like, yeah, I'm so excited to go back through this and lead it all the way through what I will in a couple of hours know to be the ending of the whole thing. And
that's
now,
gonna be my entire June.
But now I don't fucking care. I don't care at all. That was the most piss poor ending to anything that I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
it's worse than fucking Return of the Jedi.
I couldn't agree more. I'm so proud of you, Jason.
Where were the Force ghosts that came out, and Ned Stark and the rest of the dead people come up? Where were they? Where were they? That was so fucking awful.
See, the problem is that I've been feeling this since episode 4. You just now feeling it tonight, but this is the way I've been feeling since episode 4, Jason. I mean, come on, baby. Yes.
Yeah, there was no motivation for anything that happened in the last 60 minutes. It's like they just threw out 7.5 seasons worth of everything, and we're just like,
but what happened in the last 60 minutes are things we predicted. Like, this entire panel predicted the last 60 minutes of the episode.
Yeah,
accurately.
But you don't do it by just having people sitting down and talking about it when you've got a series that was all about, blood and fire and ice and blah blah blah. Like, Jesus Christ. All that Grey Worm does is stand there and stick his tongue in his cheek
and pout.
Yeah. He's like,
why the fuck is he even alive? He should be dead.
I told you, they should have killed it. Like, his arc, came to an end a while ago, and even if he was like, okay, Missandei and then my revenge or whatever, he should have died on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have died fighting in that battle because he had nothing left to live for after he had found something to live for.
He should have died because of his own bloodlust and because he betrayed his own humanity. The thing that Daenerys fought for and sacrificed for, the thing that Missandei tried to restore in him by forsaking his humanity, he should have paid for it with his life. And through his blood rust and his rage and everything like that, that should have been paid off, and that should have been punished in that specific way to tell us that that's not okay.
I thought for sure hurt.
Instead, he becomes a 2-dimensional bad guy that's used as a plot device to get Jon Snow to go to the castle. Oh my God!
I thought for sure him and Jon would go at it, or something. Be something like that.
Jason, embrace the dark side. Jason, embrace it.
Them killing Missandei makes sense, but her telling Daenerys as her last words, Dracarys, knowing that Dany said she didn't want to be Queen of the Ashes, knowing that Dany kept saying she wanted to make a better world, that she wanted to free and liberate people, her deciding in her last breath to condemn innocent men, women, and children to be slaughtered.
But it wasn't just that moment, Roberto. It was everything leading up to. The writing's been on the wall for years.
Yeah,
that she was going to snap like this.
No, I'm saying Dany could snap with Missandei dying. I'm saying it doesn't make sense for Missandei in her last act as a character, knowing, and Dany being her best friend, Grey Worm being her lover, to tell them
they've got a ready-made response when asked if she has any last words. It's been echoed throughout the fucking series.
They shouldn't have asked her. Ned Stark didn't get last words.
All she had to say was Valar Morghulis. That's all she had to say. All men must die. And then it could be interpreted whatever way that they want.
Yes.
But instead,
that would have been because that would have been her accepting her fate, but they could have taken it how they wanted and then been vengeful and all this, because it would have been the coin flip, because Valar Morghulis is also on the coin from the House of Black and White. So it also ties to the allegory of the coin flip of greatness or madness for a Targaryen. You're absolutely right. Literary wise, it makes no sense for Missandei to say Dracarys versus Valar Morghulis.
Yes.
I mean, 1,000. We agree on that. That pissed me off, because then that actually now makes sense for everything Grey Worm and Dany do. Makes total sense. Not to mention, we didn't even get that line as another payoff this season.
No, I mean what's her face? Melisandre says it.
Yeah, that's the last time we hear it and everything. And then her character was thrown away, pissed in the wind, quite literally. Again, and the gods. Where were the gods? Where were the gods? They just were like, fuck off. Like,
yeah, we're gonna sit around now as a big happy
I
family.
still have no idea what Raylor's plan was for anybody. I still don't know what the Lord of Light's plan was. I believe
nobody does, because nobody got it right. Melissa, not Melissa, the Red Queen or the Red Witch, whatever. She said herself, it's up to interpretation. I've been wrong in the past. Exactly what happened with Stannis, and the same thing with Beric. I mean,
but he literally was like, "Fuck off, I'm out." He made no like after all this shit, like the Red God just dipped. There's no final conclusion, no light bringer, no sword of fire, no.
Because it's up to interpretation. They even said themselves when they came into Dragonstone, when they were giving the interpretation, and Melisandre said, "Well, there's no word. It could be the prince or princess."
Well,
but neither. The Lord of Light is a lie. The Lord of Light is a lie.
I never said that. I'm saying it's up to interpretation, and nobody got the interpretations correct.
Go ahead, Jay.
No. Azor Ahai was a prophecy that's been held on to and brought forward throughout these 8 years, over and over and over again. And that whole thing is about, the prince that was promised, or the princess, but still, what the guy who that prophecy is about is he wants to save mankind. So he forges a sword and it breaks, and he forges it again and it breaks, and then finally he forges it and he shoves it through his wife's heart, and that's what hardens it.
Yeah.
And he's able to go and do the things that that's the thing that makes Lightbringer. Okay? There was no fucking Lightbringer here. There was just like, oh, I'm gonna melt the Iron Throne, I'm gonna pick up my dead mommy and fly off. That was bullshit.
So your argument is that Drogon is Azor Ahai.
No, I mean they just decided to that was just masturbatory. It was not motivated in any way.
Melting the Iron Throne, I think, makes sense, but not paying off Azor Ahai, because the thing is, they've alluded to destroying the Iron Throne from the very beginning. If you look at, they've alluded to it multiple times.
Just the fact that, I mean, melting the Iron Throne is the most hackneyed, the easiest, the most ridiculous freaking symbolism that you could ever go for.
People have predicted that since the books before the show was made, though.
I don't care. People don't write the show
but it means that they read into what Martin was putting down and were able to correctly. And he even went and said himself that a lot of people figured it out over the years.
I don't think if anything that happened in this episode ends up in those last 2 books, then I'm not even going to read them.
By the way, they alluded to how Martin really believes the Iron Throne looks, because the Iron Throne, they had to scale it to be something reasonable as a set piece. But in the illustrations, the fan art that Martin's kind of said, yep, that's as close as a real depiction.
It's like 20 feet tall and everything. Yeah.
It's this monstrosity, and you actually the swords are part of actually walking up to it. Mm-hmm. It's actually even killed kings who were the throne somehow mystically deemed.
When she was talking about counting to 20 and everything, I'm like, okay, that's a little Easter egg, right? So
but and that it's this thing, right? This monstrosity or whatever. Because in the books, it really is 1,000 blades, and it really is this heap, this ugly thing, and it's actually even killed a king that sat on it before, and he was unworthy, he was found wanting, so to speak. So I like that they kind of did that wink to the book readers and to the fans, so that was nice, at least to me. But I really think we could look at this thing, look back and say, yeah, they were always going to destroy the Iron Throne, because again, even the book readers thought that before the show was ever made. That's how this whole thing ends, is that we thought either that they'll do it voluntarily, Dragonfire, all that good shit, or we thought that it won't matter, because some of us used to believe back in the day that the White Walkers were going to win. Because that is an interesting or that it won't matter because the whole thing will cycle again. Because the thing is, there was a part of me when Dany died that wondered if she was going to end up being the final boss. Because a part of me wondered if somehow, some insane way, at the very end, she opens her eyes and she's the Night's Queen. Because there's a plot thread for that in the there's a plot thread about a Night's Queen that makes the Night King in the books. And I was wondering if maybe they were going to kind of go that way of somehow, oh shit, because Drogon, where did Drogon take her? If we ended up with Jon Snow in the north and he goes out ranging, and then all of a sudden you got Daenerys and Drogon waiting as the final boss, that's kind of oh shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything would have been better than this.
Hey,
oh my god.
Amen, man. Amen.
Oh my god. That was nauseating. I'm truly sick to my stomach.
Welcome to the club, baby. Welcome to the club.
It's one of those times where you need a good cigarette, man.
I'm not happy or mad. I'm just kind of glad it's over, and
I'm just glad Tyrion lived.
Yeah.
That's all I really wanted. All I really wanted was Tyrion and Sansa and Arya to live. That was my deal breaker. That was my list. And I'm I'll take however I get there. I just need my people. I just need my I just need my imp. And he's serving his hand to the king once again.
Again, he's the hand, right?
Unstoppable. Tyrion practically has the Infinity Gauntlet, man. How many kings has this fucker served now?
Oh no, he's Dany, Bran, and then who before that? Was it Joffrey? Was he hand to Joffrey or no?
He was hand to so he was hand to the king, to Joffrey, and then
Joffrey, then Dany, then Bran.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's as far as people go, he's still served more rulers than anyone alive now that Varys is gone.
That's true. Yeah.
And I don't like the way that they made it a cliffhanger at the end. I mean, it was so terrible.
Wait, what?
What cliffhanger?
What do you mean? What cliffhanger?
Oh, it was well, where's Drogon? Well, that's what I heard. And then we still need a spider guy. We still need this and that.
Oh, Bran said, well, maybe I can find him. Hey, remember you cut him off? He said, maybe I can find him.
Yeah, and so
Jason, do you hate me?
Bran gets wheeled away again to do nothing. He's the king now, and he's just you guys take care of it. I'm out.
Listen. He's going to oversee all the ramps to make King's Landing wheelchair accessible. He has things to do now.
I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so fucking pissed.
Oh my god.
Jason, are we still friends?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Fine. Yes, of course.
It's not his fault. He's right. My only regret is that Grey Worm didn't die, because then my Deadpool would have been 100% accurate. My Deadpool was this close. My Deadpool was this close to being accurate. They just had to kill fucking Grey Worm.
There are some people that probably should have died in the Battle of Winterfell that lived, and they're
Grey Worm.
Yeah, he should have died in the Battle of Winterfell. He's definitely one of them. Yep. But Jaime probably should have died in the Battle of Winterfell. He should have never made it back to King's Landing.
No, he had the bed Brienne. She deserves it.
That kind of I got to be honest. Now that it's all over, I got to be honest and say that Jaime Brienne thing, okay, you can make a case for it, but in reality, that was kind of lame.
I was never happy how
they built up to that the entire show.
Yeah, but I don't know. They made Jaime turn 180, and it was all.
Yeah, no, I feel they wasted his character development. I'm with you. But he should have either stayed with Brienne or went and died doing something truly noble.
Mm-hmm. It would have been a good ending for that redemption arc. Him to go back to King's Landing is pointless.
Kill his sister.
Yeah.
Fucking kill his sister.
That would have been a good ending to the redemption arc.
I mean, okay. As much as I defended the last episode, and as much as I defended this season, now that it's all over and I know what they were trying to build to, I'm a little sick to my stomach. And I realized that friggin' Danny burning all of King's Landing down, whether it was motivated or not, whether the breadcrumbs were there all the way through, it was just Deus Ex Machina. It was like, oh, I'm going to solve all of our problems. I'll burn this shit to the ground, and then we don't have to deal with all these characters who need to have endings. You know, they're just. And then for the ones that they didn't kill, they all got together in a little, friggin' hootenanny circle, and just talked it out. Oh my fucking god!
So, Jason, are you still happy with how Cersei died?
No,
she got killed by a brick.
No, not after this. Not after this.
She should have died by Dany's hand in fire. She'll die differently in the books, though, because in the books there's another prophecy. Because the thing is, they were fine to not pay off the Maggie the Frog prophecy because they never really stated that part of the prophecy in the show, only in the books.
Mm-hmm.
The only prophecy they gave Cersei in the show was about her children. And that she'd marry the king. They never gave the third prophecy, so they never had to bother paying it off.
Travis, oh my god. People didn't like how Hitler died.
The guy an aneurysm.
Oh my god. That was real life, dude. That was reality. Jesus Christ, this is a made-up story. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Come up with something better than this shit. Oh my god. This is...
I feel your pain, Jason. I feel your pain. I've been feeling it for 2 weeks, Jason. I feel your pain, bro. I feel it.
You're gonna make Jason go out and buy something.
I feel like they had to have Danny go mad to justify Jon, the tragedy of Jon Snow. You ever heard of the tragedy of Jon Snow?
Well, it really is, honestly. I mean, he could have had it all, but
yeah. Jon Snow has done nothing the entire series, but finally tonight, when he needed to step up to the plate, when he needed to get it done.
You with this whole hasn't done anything this whole series.
I am not kidding. He's done nothing the entire series except tonight.
No. Hard Home, the betrayal of the Night's Watch, coming back from the dead.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. Hell no. No, Jon Snow. Oh, I'm sorry. Aegon motherfucking Targaryen the 5th. Motherfucker. No. No. Like, my boy went, took the black, trained everybody, went,
let's get ready to rumble.
Everybody came back, like fucking, like led the charge, like climbed the wall, defended the wall against the wildlings, like freaking, like
Travis then boned his aunt.
No, like killed like the freaking Six Skin Changer, like killed Mance Raider, did all that shit. Killed Master, killed all those fuckers. Like, no. Jon motherfucking Snow, like, is fucking like MVP of the entire series. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Hold on.
Truth. Tell me the truth.
Where's my popcorn?
Oh god. Oh Lord.
Aside from Danny, he has the highest kill count. Aside from Danny, he has the highest kill count in this entire show.
What? Him?
Of all the surviving characters,
Jon Snow has a kill count? Really?
Aside from the surviving characters, Jon Snow has the highest kill count.
So I will agree with Roberto up until this season. And this season, after we know all of everything that's going to happen, Jon Snow was the most wasted character of any character out there. I mean, he was just completely
I'd want
wasted.
to say he didn't do nothing though.
Well, no, I agree with you that all the way through the series, he was like the guy.
Hey,
he was the sort of like moral compass of the show. Okay, and in doing that, I mean, Viper, you need to go back and watch like the Battle of the Bastards and all that shit because you've forgotten some things clearly.
But what happened in the Battle of the Bastards? So what happened? He got saved by the Knights of the Vale in the Battle of the Bastards. What did he do?
Then he went.
still killed Ramsay and made Ramsay.
Yeah. I mean,
Sansa killed Ramsay. I'm sorry, but he made Ramsay his bitch before Sansa finished the job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's agree that. Let's all be clear now.
Oh God, this is funny.
Yeah.
F and chat for Ramsay.
Facing down that horde like a man.
Yeah. I mean,
come on.
That was probably like one of the last best things that the show did. Looking back now.
What, Battle of Bastards?
Yeah.
Oh God.
That was an awesome episode. You could see it.
I just still needed like 2 more minutes of Clegane Bowl, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just 2 more minutes. That's all I want. Just 2 more minutes. Just one more round. Just one more round.
I think they totally fucked up Clegane Bowl as well.
Really? How? Why? How?
As soon as he stabs him through the stomach or the chest or wherever it was, and the guy's just like, "Rrr." Then I'm like, oh fuck! All stakes are off. They're both gonna die. Who the fuck cares?
No, we all knew they were both gonna die.
Yeah, but it became a who the fuck cares moment when suddenly Gregor is just a zombie that can't be killed. I don't.
So
give a
you would have
fuck after
preferred
that.
one person living?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that like having Gregor just be like a 2-dimensional bad guy that can't be killed
on YouTube, where it's just straight through.
No, I mean, I like a good fight in an action thriller, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever, as much as anybody else does. But if you're gonna like bring me to the point of blue balls, lead me up to that. And then you just make it like, well, the guy's 10 times bigger, and no matter how many times he stabs him, it doesn't matter. So, fuck it.
So Travis wants to know what should have happened, Travis. Let me tell you what should have happened. Either Arya should have killed Cersei, or after she went through the whole hell of surviving Daenerys burning out King's Landing, Arya should have killed Dany.
Yeah, it's like when Arya popped up next to Jon Snow, I was like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
And then she's just gone.
Gone. Nothing.
Jon had to kill Dany for a lot of reasons, but he also, when Tyrion told him, what about your sisters? That was her death warrant. That was it. Yep. Because Jon was like, if I don't, this is going to go down. If I don't come for her, Arya is going to find her, because she's gonna like Sansa and Arya are in play at that point. That was going to go down. So Jon had to take one for the team because he wasn't about to let his sisters.
See, I say that could have been the moment when Jon says, fuck this, because it was all about family versus duty. And he had that whole thing with Tyrion about duty over honor and love and blah, blah, blah. And instead of fighting, he just like, he doesn't join forces with his sisters. He doesn't go to the men of the North and say, we've got to right this wrong. This is the time.
He had to kill Dany right then and there.
It's a freaking story. They could do anything they want. You know, they're only one dragon dead away.
Historically, the North bent the knee, and the Kings of Winter are bent to the Targaryens for exactly that reason. Not to mention the North suffered enough. Jon, if nothing else, was like, my sisters, my brother, and the North has suffered enough. I'm just gonna it was the right thing.
Hey, Jason, I have a question for you.
What?
How do you feel about Dany's death?
I mean, I thought that was fine. I mean, but they left so much out. What I'm saying is, like, we can still have Jon killing her that way, right? Or we could even have her killing Jon. That's fine.
I think your dog is humping your pillow.
She's just going to sleep.
Okay.
But they left out the whole thing where it wasn't just like love versus duty. Oh, my sisters might get fucked if I don't do this, so I guess I just better go kill the queen. Like, there was so much more that could have been done with that. I mean, the North may have always bent the knee, but that might actually always have been the problem. You know? So maybe this one last giant battle against forces from across the sea and people who were not even part of Westeros. You got the North which is the most Westeros of Westeros. You got them holding it down for 20 minutes, and then somebody kills the fucking dragon, and then Jon kills Daenerys, and then we can go on with our shit. But this whole 30 minutes worth, I mean, it was fucking Shakespearean for 30 minutes. And then it became fucking Starsky and Hutch.
Well, didn't I tell you guys that episode 6 was going to be epilogue?
Yep. Actually,
I thought they were going to actually like make an effort.
I told you guys episode 6 would be epilogue.
That was fucking bullshit. There's so much fucking bullshit.
The finale of Game of Thrones seasons are usually not that eventful.
The second last episode's always been what happened.
They say, yeah, you're right. It's always the second like that's the formula.
But there was so much, like all that the second to last episode did was open up questions, was open up conflict, was open up all of these things that had to be motivated by characters doing fucking something.
Actually, I would argue that this should have been more Shakespearean because I feel like Jon and Dany both should have died. Since they loved each other, that would have been a better ending.
You could go Romeo and Juliet. You can fucking go Hamlet. You can fucking go Macbeth. You know, you could go any way that you want. I mean, if you stick with Shakespeare, you have a good story. But instead, they went after school special. What the fuck? I'm surprised they didn't even do a dance. I'm surprised they didn't dance.
Well, there's technically an episode next week. It's not an actual series episode. It's like behind the scenes.
It's just going to be a fucking circle jerk, man. Fucking circle jerk.
It's a featurette, man. Yeah, nobody cares
about that. It's a fucking circle jerk.
Yeah, don't watch any of the YouTube videos this week, Jason. Just for your own health, please don't, because you're just going to get pissed.
Is anybody going to say this is good?
It should be very interesting.
Not bad.
It was terrible.
I can live. I've told you, I got what I wanted.
But that's why it's terrible. In a series like this, you sit there and say, like,
the only series that had a perfect ending ever was Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Breaking Bad was that was a good ending. Yeah,
that was the only series that has ever had a perfect ending.
Oh, but here's a good question though, and here's a real question: was this ending worse than Lost?
Yes.
No,
man, fuck Lost.
No, that shit. This was not worse than Lost. There is no fucking way. That is blasphemy.
I stopped watching Lost like 3 seasons before it was over because it sucked.
For you,
can't believe you brought up Lost.
Sucked.
What the?
You because you would if you're this mad about Game of Thrones ending, Lost would have pissed you off, man. Like
well, that's what. But I saw that it was getting bad 2 seasons before it was over. So I stopped watching it. Therefore, I've never seen it. Therefore, I don't give a shit.
I have no idea how Lost ended.
Was this worse than the ending of How I Met Your Mother?
I don't know. I've never seen that show.
No, I'm fine with that.
I've never seen that show. So
I'm actually very fine with the way that How I Met Your Mother ended.
Really? They killed it. They destroyed it.
No, but also here's the thing. You know why I'm probably right about? Sorry, you know why I'm probably fine with How I Met Your Mother ended? Because I called. Because I was right.
Okay, good. Okay.
Well, I mean, this is almost as bad as fucking Saint Elsewhere. I don't know if you guys remember Saint Elsewhere. But
I remember it. I don't remember how it ended.
It was all a fucking dream.
I don't think these kids are that old, Jason.
It was all like somebody woke up at the end and was like, "Wow, that was a weird dream."
I watched it, but I never got to the end, and but I did think I heard that it was all a dream. There was another series that was all a dream.
The Cheers?
Yeah.
What? No, not Cheers. No, not Cheers.
I thought it was Cheers.
No, Cheers ended with him just closing the bar and going out the back door.
Yeah. Actually, the truth of the best series ending. I mean, Breaking Bad was good, but the best ending of a series was MASH. Okay, MASH got it right. I mean, you guys don't remember MASH.
I remember MASH. I don't remember how it ended.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was the first really sort of like appointment television show that had
an actual ending.
Well, that had like a continuing story arc, you know. And so when the war ended, MASH ended. It was, yeah.
Did F Troop have an ending?
I don't know.
Man, now we're getting old.
But
like y'all remember F Troop, right?
Nope.
Oh my god!
I never watched it, man.
Yeah, it wasn't on reruns when I was a kid. I had Beverly Hillbillies, Gomer Pyle, Andy Griffith.
And y'all don't? Wow. I remember F Troop, Dobie Gillis. I remember Green Acres. I remember all of you remember Bewitched, so that doesn't really like count. And I Dream of Jeannie with Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman. Larry Hagman was Major Nelson. But like, yeah, like Jesus. I remember the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, I mean, I watched all those in syndication.
Tyler Moore being Rhoda and Phyllis.
I didn't have cable until I was 17. So,
like, geez, I feel old now. Like, I'm an old timey television guy. Freaking Nick at Night, TV Land. Like,
oh, see, no, I watched them in syndication on like daytime TV.
Just to watch them in syndication.
Yeah, I didn't watch no Nick at Night.
Yeah, TV Land, man.
I was like an adult then.
So are you guys all gonna watch the prequel series that's gonna apparently come out next spring?
Yep,
of course.
Yeah,
I'm fucking done. I don't know.
Yep.
This is so fucking awful.
And the animated series that they do for Aegon's Conquest, I'm down. I hope they do it anime style. I hope they do it anime style. I hope it's some brutality. I hope it's like Kill Bill anime style. Like how they did. Like, you know what I'm pissed at? I'm pissed that we never got a Kill Bill prequel as an anime, especially if they just did it all Oren Ishii, like they did in the movie as the feature kind of thing. Like, oh my God, I'm so down for that.
Oh.
And let Watanabe direct it, Cowboy Bebop, because he helped with that that feature, that little anime skit that they did in Kill Bill with Oren Ishii's origin. They had Watanabe from Cowboy Bebop do it. Have him do an entire Kill Bill anime prequel with the origins of the Deadly Vipers. Yeah, I'm down. And let him have the animated series for Aegon's Conquest for Game of Thrones. Make it bloody as hell. Like, bring it. Like,
hey, just really quick. Does anybody want a Huawei phone? I got this Mate 20 Pro here.
Is that legal for us to
buy? I'm sick. I'm so fucking sick.
You gotta take a walk, man. You gotta do whatever you do to de-stress, man. You gotta
watch it, Geonosis, man. I was gonna come with the.
I think that the prequel is gonna be The Long Night. And I think it's going to be almost like...
They already said it's going to be that. That's what Charlie said on his channel.
But my version of it, I think it's almost going to be somewhat like a little bit like... Did you guys ever watch Supernatural?
Oh,
no.
Like, so early seasons of... No, the early seasons of Supernatural, were really good. And I think the way they'll do the Monster of the Week thing, as far as introducing lore... The way that they introduce lore through a Monster of the Week, I think that they'll do that with the Long Night stuff of like, and there'll be monsters and things in the mythology that were referenced in season 1, like when Bran was hearing the stories that we never got to actually see. And we'll finally see them and they'll be introduced in the lore that way as a Monster of the Week kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that could be interesting. Yeah.
And I'm down for that because I'm also down for how they'll do the animatronics and stuff for that. Like, or the CGI, I'm fascinated by that stuff. So like for me, that's gonna be like, oh shit, like that's cool. Like, let me see that. And I'm also curious about the creative way they're gonna have to figure out, because like killing a monster is always like a feat, you know? Like, so I'm interested in the creative ways to do that, because like how the undead giant, I think that like having the little bear having Lyanna Mormont, like while being simultaneously crushed by that giant, just say fuck it, or just like stab it through the eye, and just like straight through to the brain. Like, I'm like, yeah. So I want to see some people go out like bosses, finding inventive ways to die to these monsters.
See, I want how Lyanna Mormont died. I want that, I want that for everybody. I want everybody to fucking die.
Well, she took out a whole city, man. Come on.
Yeah, but then, like, Jon Snow kills Dany, and then they have a picnic.
Okay, so Jason,
they have a fucking picnic.
I have a question for you. Serious question. I know how upset the 2016 election made you. That's when you started wearing black. Okay, I know what level that is. Is this how this ended? Above or below that? I mean, how do you feel?
You honestly can't really compare the two because one is like reality in which we might actually end up dead because of the idiocy that has been foisted upon us by idiots. And this is a TV show.
Okay. I'll stop giving you a hard time. I love you, man. I love you, man.
Hey guys, I got to get out of here though, man. It's like 9:00 my time, and I got stuff I got to do. But great conversation, and man, I don't know, man. We'll see where this goes, dude. But I hope you guys all have a good night, man.
See you, Jeff.
Good night, Jeff. By the way,
care.
many happy returns, Jeff.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it,
birthday,
dude.
Man.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Birthday for you.
See you guys.
Good man.
See you, man. Yeah.
Jeff is such a good guy. He's such he's got a tremendous amount of spirit for everything that he has to go through.
Nicest guy in tech.
I couldn't agree more.
Jason, now you see why everybody's pissed off about this season. Now you understand.
Well, trust me, I don't want to understand. I don't want to understand.
But you do, though. Damn it, you do.
But there's some irony to this because you just made a video saying quit whining, and I agree a lot with what you said. But see, my problem with this season has not been like the entertainment value of it so far. It's been the delivery and some of the hokey writing. Some of it, not all of it.
I agree.
See, I don't even have a ton of problem with the writing as long as you hit the points, as long as you make the moves that need to be made for having the opportunity to fucking stick the landing.
Can we all agree that the performances were tremendous, though?
Yeah. I mean, they were great. They were all great. Except, I mean, what can you do with a character like Bran? It's like, becoming the third.
So for the actual actor to be able to do what they like what they were asking there, they just put him on Quaaludes. Are we okay to say that?
I don't know. It's not my channel.
YouTube, YouTube, don't mess around, don't strike Vipe. We need that.
I think that reference is old enough that YouTube's algorithm couldn't even catch it.
The algorithm.
Oh my
chaos with the freaking claims lately.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, I saw Fox. We tweet something here.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh, Intel and Qualcomm joined Google and Huawei ban. Damn.
Oh,
what do you mean?
Oh,
how so? What?
Google, now Intel and
Qualcomm.
And Qualcomm.
Damn. Woo.
So they don't got no operating system.
So did they find some credence to the claims of Chinese espionage?
Well, President Trump banned Huawei on Friday, I think. So I think
it's a trade ban, yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of his ongoing trade war. But there's allegations of espionage and a backdoor and spying and all this other shit. And you have to wonder if there's credence to those claims. I've heard it from both sides, and I've heard also with some of the background because of the transport and the infrastructure from the Canada side. I've heard it I think even you brought this up, Zach, but I've heard it both ways. I've heard people defending. I've heard people against.
The issue that the United States has, it's not the phones, it's the infrastructure. Okay, and what Huawei should have done 2 years ago when people were questioning, they should have split up their infrastructure company from their cellular. Then they could have sold handsets in the United States.
See, the thing is, I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember that there was a moment with the phones where, like we've talked about before, AT&T was about to walk on stage and say, "Hey, here's a Huawei phone," and the government came to them and said, "We got a problem," and they canceled it. And the same day, Best Buy took every Huawei phone out of the stores.
Verizon followed, yep.
And so there was something going on, and I do think it had something to do with the backdoor or some kind of something that, if widespread,
espionage.
Yeah, if widespread throughout the U.S. would potentially be a problem. I don't know what it was, but I do know what the conjectures were. So I think at this point, it sounds like they've probably gotten some kind of confirmation on some kind of level that something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, they've got no operating system. They've got no
modem.
No modem. They've got no SoC. They can basically make a phone with a screen. Nothing inside.
Well, they can use the Google open source, but no Play Store, no Gmail, no Google Photos, no Chrome, like all the stuff people want.
Nothing of any consequence. That
yeah, they can use the open source. Like you and I can go get the open source stuff right now and do something.
It's like, oh, it's a phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
yeah, but you want the Google license in order to have that support again for security updates on the Google side, for access to the Play Store, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
For Google to do that, the government either had to show them some receipts or put pressure on them.
Well, with the government, with the United States government putting the actual ban in place, because before it was a self-imposed. It was just the government saying, maybe you want to reconsider this, and everybody said, okay, we will. So it was self-imposed amongst all the carriers. Now it's an actual ban, and Google had to comply.
Yep.
So
they
do
had no choice.
Believe that the ban is because there's substance to the claims, or do you think that it's just part of they can do it because Trump wants to do it?
I don't know, but I think Huawei is going to respond. There's a couple of different ways. The smart play, in my opinion, and again, I don't know all the details, but the smart play would be for them to open up their books and open up everything to the United States, especially, CIA and everybody that's making all these claims and making everything 110% clear. Or splitting up their companies between their like I said, 2 years ago when they could have done this, split up their infrastructure from the cellular, because right now it's all it's all one big thing, right? And that's what's biting them in the ass right now.
I'm going to do like a deep dive series on this because I think that'd be super interesting. I don't know if
I started writing stuff and it's the more I went down the rabbit hole,
here's the problem.
It's really a conspiracy theory kind of.
What's the problem, Jason?
So, let me remember the problem. The thing is, okay, to respond to Zach's point about opening up their books and showing everything and being transparent and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the reason that they likely won't do that is the same reason that Trump won't release his taxes. They're shit to hide, dude. They're shit to hide.
I don't, and again, I don't see Huawei doing that, but I can see, I would hope to see them somehow resolve this, but this is bigger than just Huawei. This is a China trade war ban. We're heading towards a trade war, like huge.
And you know who loses the trade war every time?
Consumers.
Ding 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 ding.
So
ding.
everybody that's kind of laughing today on Twitter and everything like that and going, oh, so much that's what stops Apple and Samsung from jacking their prices up on you guys now. Right? There's no other competitors out there.
What stops China, who we rely on as a trade partner, from taking serious offense, and this is a mark of dishonor, and you know how they deal with dishonor, and there's a lot of other things that we as American and North American consumers really want and really need that requires Chinese manufacturing.
You complain about $1,000 phones now. There's a reason why they're not higher, everybody, because you have the Alcatels, because you have the LGs out there. You have all these other choices that people can go in and get. If those choices are not there,
all of our tech prices could increase by up to 30%, and no one wants to say that that's the case. And that's just our tech. We already have a problem with them with agriculture, with the fact that down here in the South, when there were other agricultural crops that were compromised and everything like that, a lot of our guys turned to soy. And as much as talk all this bullshit about soy boys and everything like that, hey, stop. Like, I think even someone said stop making that joke on Fox News because someone was like, oh, hell no. Soy.
Did China cut off your canola or anything like that down in the United States?
No, I don't think so.
No, thankfully.
They cut off Canada. They cut off imports of Canadian canola, which actually affects a big part of my family. A big part of my family are canola farmers. So they have less places to distribute and whatever. They also cut off, I think it's pork imports and one other meat.
I think for us,
specific here in Canada.
For us, it was pecans, which is like a big deal down here in Georgia. What they did was, I think they kind of made it specific regionally to specifically actually target Trump's base and target a lot of us in the South that have specific crops and things of that nature on the agro side.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty bad down here because I know a lot of people who are invested. In fact, actually, my neighbor, he has some property out in Augusta, and they have a pecan farm out in Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
So
Brandon, from this today, the pork thing is actually kind of crazy because that's a big part of Chinese. Right now, they're doing a huge culling right now in China because of infected farms. So this really shows you how they won't blink. They know they have a shortage of pork, and they're cutting out Canadian imports, which is a huge part of that. Even though they have to burn down their own farms and everything, So this is, I mean, China ain't gonna blink. It should be it's gonna be an entertaining year. Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm glad that I can afford to buy the things that I need to buy, even if the prices go up. That's not the situation for a lot of my friends. And that worries me and bothers me. And then economically, that bothers me for the country. And the thing is, de-escalation is the right answer. But you have a group of people that you can't have too much pride on both sides. And that's what we have a lot of. And the thing is, this was instigated and it keeps escalating. And I can't see them wanting to lose face, even if it's to do right by the people. And that's the problem I have is much like Varys, I just want what's right for the realm. And I don't give a shit about anybody's ego, anyone's pride, anyone's blood claims, anyone's propaganda. I don't give a shit about political parties. I would probably burn them all down with fire and blood and start over. To be very frank about it, is this thing bothers me because there are people who are going to lose so many jobs. There are people who are going to lose their hard-earned investments. There's people here losing their farms, and we're going to get nothing out of it in return except to beat our chest what good is that? What good is that when people don't have employment anymore? What good is that when people lose their family farm? What good is that when the consumer gets price gouged? And you know what? It's like, I can afford it a little bit. That's why I don't give a crap about political spectrums and shit like that. You know what I care about? I care about the economy. I care about the consumer. I care about the workers, and nobody gives a shit. Everybody just wants to posture, and everyone just wants to say I won or I voted for my guy, or everyone wants to be single issue voters. There's only one issue that you can be a single issue voter on: the economy, because it's the one thing that, regardless of your morality, regardless of your belief system, regardless of your ideology, regardless of where you came from, you have to live and you serve at the pleasure of the economy. That's the one thing that actually matters. We all have to live with the economy.
The majority of people who are most affected by the economy in the United States don't understand the economy whatsoever because they've never been a part of it. So they vote for other things. It's Karl Rove started this with George Bush II back in the early 2000s, and then they've just been playing the same game. It's like divide and conquer, wedge issues that are not pertinent to actual governance over and over and over and over again. So, we got with Obama, he was able to elevate above that kind of stuff. Almost by sheer acts of will on his part.
But it came off and presented as weakness because the thing is, people didn't understand it. And the thing is, he was a marketing failure beyond getting elected. Beyond getting elected, Obama was a marketing failure because he couldn't communicate well to the baseline of people's intelligence and everything like that. Like him or hate him, Trump markets very effectively, regardless of your intelligence level.
No, see, but Trump doesn't market effectively because he's a fucking idiot. I mean, he's a fucking idiot.
No, I'm saying you don't have to be smart to market well sometimes. He's actually very good at, again, he met people where they actually are. Obama was over people's heads, which means it was easier to otherize him again. When you're like, you and I both have been the smart guy in the room, and it hasn't done us favors sometimes before. But when you aren't the smart guy in the room, quote unquote, and you don't intimidate people on that level, but you also can convey quote unquote strength as an authority, most people follow the strong man. You know this. I know this. Intellectuals are the minority. That's the facts.
The thing about Obama is, I really feel like yes, he had a great machine going for him that got him elected the first time. And then he made choices about where he was gonna fight his battles. And one of those places was healthcare. And he did give healthcare to so many people who never had it before in their lives.
Did it poorly because
but
it against their own best interest, because the machine, as in terms of the opposition, Fox News did a fantastic job of their marketing of how bad Obamacare was until people lost it. Like, and then give it back. Like,
well, so the thing is, like, I have friends who never had health care. I've had several friends die because they didn't have health care. They couldn't get preventative treatment. I had one friend die not 2 years before Obamacare became a thing. And if he had had Obamacare in place, he would have been able to get the back surgery that was actually the reason why he was prescribed such high doses of fentanyl and died in his sleep.
People loved it, but they didn't understand it. That's my point, Jason, is like it did good. It did a lot of good. It didn't do 100%, but some of that wasn't on Obama. Some of that was the concessions, and some of it was the government contractors that messed up the system, because that's a whole nother thing as far as the fact that we shouldn't have allowed any government contractors that failed to fulfill less than 80% of their obligations in a bid to bid again for 5 years. If that penalty had been in place, people would honor their agreements. My dad was an E9 in the Marine Corps. He told me how many times contracts were not fulfilled, even up to 80%. And just by even mandating that to be qualified to continue to bid for government contracts, you're disqualified if you don't complete like something reasonable, like 85, 90%, it would change everything. If we've squandered less of our tax dollars, we've got better outcomes. And with Obamacare, the thing is, when I saw what some of the system stuff on the admin side was, and even the development of the website and everything like that, and what the billings were for commissioning that web development work, when me and some of my friends were looking at that, and I have friends who are like senior level developers, and we're like, this makes no goddamn sense. Like, how the hell could they charge this much for this? And what the hell? And for this execution, are you fucking shitting me? Like, it was like, so I agree with you, but I also think that there were a couple of major things. One, the fact that the execution of it, not again his fault, but the way our system works, it didn't deliver everything that it needed to help people accept such a massive change. And then two, people weren't marketed to and communicated to well enough in favor of versus opposing, because only when it was threatened to be taken away and people realized what they had did they step up and defend it. Even people who said, oh, I'll go out of business before I ever agree with Obamacare, then were put to the test. Like the one guy who really wanted to get in Paul Ryan's face that said, it's like, yeah, I was all against Obamacare. I was with you, Speaker Ryan, and then I got cancer. And then when you, like, if it takes someone getting cancer before they understand that something is in their best interest, you didn't market it right.
Yeah, I mean, marketing things in the political sphere like that, where you've got very aggressive people against for ulterior motives that serve them. Plus, you've got the people that are working with you. Plus, you've got the government system in place that is not in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, screwing us on hemp and marijuana, and that was like long term. That's in everybody's best interest.
Yeah, I mean, I think in 20 years we'll look back at Obama and recognize, like, there were several things about how he maintained his presidency and some of the things that he did during his presidency that were very significant for the United States in the long term. That is, if
I give it 10 years, before we, like, I mean, people already are like, man, we didn't know what we had, right? But like,
the reason I'm reluctant to say 10 years is because 10 years after Bill Clinton left office, we were like, man, I wish Bill Clinton was back. And then 30 years after Bill Clinton left office, we realized that he was the whole problem in the first place.
Not really. We still had a government surplus at the end of the day, and we still de-escalated a lot of our military conflicts. I know a lot of people in the military who still say that for them, the Clinton years were some of the best years because they weren't on long troop rotations. And for military families, that's a big deal. And the thing is, less caskets came home. So like for military families, there are military families there's some military people who just are anti-Clinton because he demilitarized and he cut a lot from the budget, but he also de-escalated conflict, shortened troop rotations. So it's kind of a mixed bag for those of us who are military adjacent, because of it just depends on where you feel you came out ahead on that. And that's like situational. So, I mean, there are a lot of people in the military that are not pro more military spending, expand the budget, because what no one realizes and what no one talks about is that no matter how much we increase the military budget, we don't increase the individual cost invested per soldier, which actually, if we reduce the budget, but up that by reducing the overall budget, by cutting bloat, cutting wasted military contracts for shit we don't need, but spent more and invested on the troops, and also shortened deployments as a result of that, and deployment rotations, we'd be doing actually right by the troops. And if we reform the VA is a fucking travesty.
Yeah, that much is for sure. But I guess my point on Clinton was, after Jimmy Carter, the Democrats couldn't win. And they also didn't have anybody who was in their camp who had money. So they had to move to the center to become more attractive to corporate investors.
AKA neoliberalism.
Yes. And so once they became more attractive to corporate investors, that opened up all of the things that are the problem now. All of the, we talk about money and politics all over the place. It was the Clintons that made that happen.
Well, it's basically going to the Iron Bank of Bravos. It's basically making the play that Littlefinger and Stannis Baratheon made. It's going to the Iron Bank.
Right.
Yeah. Like in that analogy, though, I'm curious as to, like, all things considered for where we are now. For all things considered for where we are now, staring down the gullet of the chaos. We're all but about to be consumed by the dragon of chaos, to use a Peterson quote at this point. Do you think that the lesser of two evils would have been ultimately making some concessions to corporatism and avoiding the chaos, avoiding the brink, avoiding what we have now?
I mean, the thing is, like, Donald Trump wasn't running for president. He wasn't running for president. He was running for dictator. And he played by no rules that any other politician has ever played for, because he has no honor. He has no honor, so he lowered himself to as far to the floor as he possibly could, and attacked and attacked and attacked and divided.
Aegon's conquest.
So, I mean, when you make up a slogan that's as slimy as "Make America Great Again," and then you walk it through the nation saying it over and over and over again, and
it's a brilliant strategy.
How is it
for marketing? Like, for marketing a product, yeah, okay,
yeah.
But for actually choosing someone to lead the largest nation in the world,
and where journalism fails. You know where journalism failed us? Why did no journalist over and over until he answered the question ask, when is it you're trying to go back to? When was the again? When was it so great that you're trying to recreate? What era are you trying to recreate? If you're saying make America great again, where are you taking us back to? What was your experience of America? Get specific. What year, Donald?
So, but the thing is,
do that, because the thing is, anyone can fill in the blank for make America great again. If I have to hold you to an answer.
In Detroit, it would be the 1970s, right? Where car manufacturing.
Are you sure he wasn't talking in the 1950s? Because I assumed he was talking about the 1950s.
No, but the brilliance of and the disgusting nature of Make America Great Again is that you can go to Detroit and you can say Make America Great Again. And to them, that means bring back all of the jobs that we lost because, we don't have anything now in our city. Went bankrupt and everything's a shithole. If you go down to Georgia, you go down to Mississippi, you go down to Alabama, and you say Make America Great Again, that means something entirely fucking different.
If you go to New Hampshire or Pennsylvania, and you're not going to the working class, and you go into the wealthy, right-leaning people who can invest, Make America Great Again is take us back to 2008 when we screwed everybody over on toxic mortgages. Let's have another round of that.
Yeah, I mean,
buy everything cheap. Because, you know, by the way, he was rooting for the mortgage crisis and he wanted another mortgage crisis. He said it out loud. He said it all loud. Oh, I love it. I'll buy shit cheap. He said it out loud. Literally, people losing their homes, but I want all the leverage I can get with all the more money than I could spend in a lifetime, more money than the Vatican. Like, I want to get even more, even if you're going to be losing your houses. And that is amazing because I'm going to come out like a bandit.
Because he's a sociopath.
Get elected doing that. And yet Hillary Clinton can say much less offensive shit. I'm not a fan of hers, by the way. But here's the thing. I love stability in the market. I love stability in the market. I love a stable economy more than anything. You realize how much fire and blood, how much corporatism I'm willing to tolerate for a stable market?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not only. I mean, so yeah, you go to the folks who are like,
I'll put Danny on the throne for a stable market.
So if you go to the folks who are middle upper class in urban areas and you say "Make America Great Again," it means, you know, bring back a market economy that benefits them, right? So the problem is, as Shannon points out, or no, Jason Chinsola points out, because he's in West Virginia and he knows this, Donald Trump was able to go to West Virginia and tell all those people that he was going to bring back the coal industry and it was going to be better than ever. It was going to be fantastic.
But he never delivered on it. He never delivered on it. And the thing is,
he can't. He can't.
Because the economy has been decline in coal sales globally year after year after year after year. It's not a viable market problem. We all serve at the pleasure of the market. And no one wants to accept that as truth, is that if you don't have value in the market, you're out. And that sucks. And that doesn't sound very egalitarian. That doesn't sound very humanist. But it's always been the truth. The difference is that if you had a strong back, you used to have value to the market. But robots have invincible, unbreakable fucking backs, and they don't complain. They don't call out sick. They don't ask for raises, and they don't need time off. And they don't need maternity leave or paternity leave. Like, I mean, can we not just look at how is it like, has life become so painful that no one can look at the truth?
No, people have been taught systematically over decades to not be able to fully understand the truth. Their ability to think critically has been taken away from them, and instead they're just ciphers. They're parrots of whatever.
How did the bastion of independent thought and individuality and creativity produce a bunch of like mindless zombies with no agency and no sense of individual ability to critical think and no sense of individuality? How did we go from leading the world in not only actual freedom but agency of independent thought to people being, I have no other word but for it than sheep? How the hell, or zombies, like, to be very real, how do we move from independence and the greatest independent thinkers, greatest creative talent, greatest entrepreneurial center of the entire world to people who aren't active participants in their own fucking lives? How the hell did that happen?
Okay, so it all started with the New Deal, right? The New Deal was the way that working people who didn't have jobs were slowly brought back to having jobs. And then when we won the second
infrastructure.
Yeah. So then when the Second World War ended and we had all this infrastructure for building tanks and bombs and planes and everything like that, that had to be repurposed. So we made commercial goods. And with the introduction of commercial goods, as well as the invention of the television, as well as the rise of advertising,
rampant consumerism.
Yeah, the rise of advertising. We basically have been. How can I say this delicately?
Doped and drugged.
Yes.
Duped and drugged. And drugged.
Karl Marx may have said back in the late 1800s that religion was the opiate of the masses, but the truth of the matter is, in 2019, consumerism is the opiate of the masses. People go out and
but tangential consumerism as a form of escapism. Because I think what you said now, when we expand on the expansion of consumer goods, but using now television as an entertainment medium, and then later through that the internet and everything else as a means of marketing now and scaling a message, because ultimately marketing and branding, and you heard me said this before, marketing and branding is religion. Marketing and branding is religion.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
primal branding, the foundations of everything in being a successful marketer, you might as well found a religion. Apple is a religion. It's not a brand, it's a religion. Like, you know,
if you do it well. If you do it well, I mean, basically, you'll accept anything that is that brand tells you, and you'll pay anything to get it. I mean, look at the Catholic Church.
The product offers relief. It offers hope. It offers status. It offers acceptance. It offers belonging. It fills every hole that you have, and every insecurity in your very soul that tells you you're not enough can be satisfied for the low price of $9.99. Like,
well, I mean, more like $99.99 at this point, but
like yeah, $9.99.99. Like, I mean, like, but that's how it works. And when you combine that with the fact that somehow your own immune system isn't good enough, you need all these pharmaceutical drugs. You like, oh, the food on your shelves, we need it to last longer so that we can get a better sale and better deal out of it. We'll introduce all these things to it that now also introduce impurities into your body. But guess what? We've got a cure for that too. And it just is this vicious cycle. And anything, did you know that the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration, actually will fine and cite and unlicensed doctors if they prescribe you a natural cure? If the answer to your ailment is literally just drink water and table salt, they can't tell you, because they'll lose their medical license and be fined. Like, if the answer is go into your backyard, crunch some mint leaves, call me in 3 days, they can't tell you that. They literally, the federal government will take away their livelihood and their ability to practice their profession if they don't prescribe to you something that is a patented drug or a procedure. If it is not a drug or if it is not a procedure, then they cannot call it a cure. That is actually legally true, and they will be fined and will lose their license. They cannot tell you that the problem can be solved without giving you a drug or a surgery or a procedure.
All right, I'm going to jump in here real quick because I want to get back to the topic before we get out of here, because I got to get out of here in a couple of minutes. Jason, did you like anything that happened tonight in the season finale, or in the series finale, I should say?
The first 30 minutes were a decent start.
Okay. Then it just all went downhill.
But everything was shit after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least they gave you the first 30 minutes.
No. It's worse. It's worse to have an epic Shakespearean first 30 minutes and then get a fucking musical afterwards. You know, fucking song and dance.
An after school special.
Yeah. It's worse to get something that you see like, oh my god, this is super intense, and then it just totally shits the bed.
Gotcha. And Roberto, you liked all the Stark living in Tyrion, right?
I liked all the Starks and Tyrion living, yeah. And like, I think what the big payoff for a lot of people though is our girl Sansa getting her due.
Dude,
long live the Queen in the North.
No doubt. Zach, what did you really like most from the finale?
Probably when they brought Tyrion in front of everybody, and it was kind of decided on right there, like how things were going to change, and everybody had a little bit to say. Robin literally came in to say I thought that was kind of funny. But that was my favorite part of the whole show. Other than that, I was just as pissed off as Jason.
Yeah, that was funny. Like, we haven't seen that dude since he was breastfeeding on his mama, and then he comes back as a lord. Like, oh,
yeah, he's had like minor, just kind of like background role. I mean, I feel bad for the kid, whatever his name is, but
he grew up to be tall, man.
He did. Yeah, even my wife was like, "Is that little Robin?" I'm like, "He's not so little anymore."
Like, but he like had a major growth spurt in just like a few years. Like
he looks over 6 foot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like Jesus.
Yeah, but that was my favorite part. I like that. I liked how everybody talked. I like Tyrion's speech. I like how they decided to form basically a democracy and say that there'll be no more successions. And then I enjoyed that because
they formed an oligarchy.
They formed a republic similar to how how old Rome did it. You know, Rome appointed an emperor. Like the Romans would appoint.
And you gotta feel happy for Bronn. I mean, he finally got his castle.
Bringing Bronn in at the last moment was just like, okay, you've just gotten knocked down, your face stomped in the mud, and then you bring in Bronn, and he just pisses on your head. Like, that was awful.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Bronn Cheerios, Jason.
What's that?
Bronn pisses Cheerios.
Well,
isn't that the saying?
Yes. Well, I mean, in my video today, I said pissing in your cornflakes and telling you it's milk.
So if I had to, from this episode, if I had to look back on something I like, I can say that at least all the Stark children lived and they're all ruling or doing what they want to do or whatnot, I guess. So I think that's my biggest takeaway, that at least all his children are now like living their best lives, I guess. So
that's the most millennial take I've ever heard on a television show. It's like, oh God, well, at least they got to live their best lives.
I mean, they didn't give us Jay. They didn't give us shit. Jay, they didn't give us nothing.
John will be living his best life if he could just find another redhead wildling chick to, like, you know.
Jason, you have to record a video tonight on this because you're so revved up. I think it would just be epic.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not going to do it.
Some heat in the comments then from that video. I was reading those comments. I was like, Jesus, this is worse than a tech video. Like,
can you pin my comment where I said that Bran would be on the throne?
No.
I told Jason.
And salty rollbacks. Jesus.
I told Jason if he made that video, they would come for him.
I didn't say anything on Twitter. I just said it during our live things. I am not being I'm not being a prosser to you. Sorry, John, if you're listening. I'm just pointing it out. That's all.
But anyway, thank you, Jim, for joining me tonight talking about this. And it's over with. Our watch is ended. Game of Thrones is officially over.
Oh, damn. Our watch is ended.
Our watch is ended.
Dude.
Game of Thrones is over with, and it is what it is. Luck, hope. I mean, I wish it could have ended up better, but it's what we got. So
I can finally cancel my HBO Now subscription.
You gotta watch Chernobyl.
Wait, Jason, let me be very real with you. Jason, we've had conversations about Watchmen and and how amazing that was. Like, are you gonna tell me that you're not gonna watch that series?
I'm afraid of that series.
Wait, in what way?
Because Watchmen, like, the only reason I like the Zack Snyder version of the film, The Watchmen, is because he stayed so close to the source material.
Yeah, it's like page per page. Exactly.
Anybody who tries to go outside of that.
But you do know that, like, DC has canonized the Watchmen being canon to the multiverse of current DC post, New 52 stuff, and that, like, Dr. Manhattan's actually still out there fucking around, and they've, like, canonized that, and, like, they're bringing that shit full circle in the current comics, right?
He's still naked?
Yeah. Dr. Manhattan is, like, actually technically more powerful than the canonized God in the DC universe right now. Like, that's like a whole thing.
Wow. See, I think that just from what I've seen of the trailers for the Watchmen series, it looks like it could be a really great TV show if they didn't have the Watchmen as part of it. If it wasn't connected to that universe whatsoever, and they just had, I mean, basically they're making a series that's sort of like ripped from the headlines, but they're using comic book characters to soften the blow. But the truth of the matter is,
Viper knocking down boxes here.
Truth of the matter is, I'd rather just see them make a show. Like, fucking give us The Wire again.
Ooh.
Don't jerk us around with all this fantasy only to pull the rug out from under us at the end.
That man is mad.
Hey, don't punish Watchmen for the sins of Thrones. I think I want to see how they play it off. So I'm down for that. And also I'm down for this his Dark Materials. Like that was the movie they couldn't get a movie series out of that from the books. But I do think I always said it would have been better as a show. I always said it. I always maintained it. And so if I can't have a show based on either the work of David Gemmell or the work of Brandon Sanderson with his Mistborn series, which would be phenomenal. If I can't have shows on those works, then I'll take his Dark Materials because that was really well written, and I'm really looking forward to that.
It's got the chick from Logan, the little girl from Logan. So
and the casting looks really good. Yeah, no, the casting looks like one thing you have to give HBO is they always do such a fantastic job with casting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like they do a great job whining and dining you, and then they get limp in the sack.
and on that note, thank you guys for tuning into the live stream. I appreciate it, and we are getting out of here. And again, thank you, Jen, for joining me, having this chat. Good conversation as always. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.